Welcome you all in this video, lesson number 13. Lesson name is Directing. Now first we will discuss the difficult words. We will understand the meanings. Motivation. Supervision. Coordination. Barriers. Physiological needs. Empower. Subordinate. Incentive. Unwillingness. Supervisor. Now lesson 13, Directing. Just now we finished the difficult words. Now we will understand this lesson. Directing, what does it mean? There are different work, for example, in any enterprise or any company, in any government office, any private office, there are different activities which are being done to achieve some goal in any company, in any NGO, in any kind of work which is volunteer based. Earlier we make some plans and then we execute them. So that is known as directing. Directing is really very important. Let us understand them one by one. We have some points. We will discuss all those points to make it clear. First is when we initiate any action, we do some planning earlier. For example, to begin our work, before that we must do planning, and without any planning our work cannot be executed. So first, planning is very important. Second is to make our work efficient and to save our time, to improve our skill, we must ensure the efficiency. The third point says to achieve the objective of our organization where we are working, direction is very important. Next point says we must have a good human relation We cannot work alone. We are working in a society, we work in a team, so work relation, human relation should be better. Planning, just there are some changes which are needed to facilitate our work. We make some planning, and in case any changes are required, we do some modification as per the need for our betterment, for our improvement. If there is no planning or no direction, then it is difficult. So, it is important to make some changes. Let us now understand the important elements of directing. It also has some points, we will understand them one by one. They all are linked together. It is easy to understand them step by step so that we can link them also. It will be easy for us to link them. So, first point under the elements of directing is communication. We all do communication in our daily life at different levels. So, communication is important. Second point under the elements of directing is leadership. Any work we do in any company, any government office, just take example of NIOS, here also it's leading in some work. So, this is an important element. Next is motivation. Motivation, we all know that it is needed to do any work. When we are appreciated and we are motivated, then we do our work in a better way. And in case if we are not motivated or we are dull and just not interested in doing anything, then it is difficult for us to grow. So, motivation is an important element which is required for the growth. Further, next point says that supervision is also very important in directing. In school, just take an example of school, there are teachers and teachers supervise students, learners, and above teachers there is a principal. Principal supervises all the teachers and their work. So, similarly, the supervision is important to make the necessary changes, that is known as supervision. Further, next point which is linked with all these above mentioned point is coordination. Just take example of this presentation. I am explaining this lesson in signing, and there is some voiceover you are listening. So, if hearing people is watching this video, he or she can also listen the audio and understand the chapter. This picture you just saw, this is of the word communication. We all know this is communication and we communicate in our daily life. Two people communicate. Earlier also when we were discussing the difficult words, communication was there. In any meeting, in daily life, we communicate with so many people. Like I am signing and there is other person who is giving audio voiceover to make the audience understand. So, communication also are of different types. Communication happens between the two people, between two companies, two groups. So, there are various groups, various peoples who are involved in communication. Communication is really important. Just as earlier we discussed the meaning of communication, communication has an important point which we should know. For any communication, we inform to other people and we make the other person informed of something. So it is really important to make self-understanding first, to make the planning, what to be informed and to whom this is to be informed. All these points which are important is effective and clear information needs to be clear. So clear information makes our communication effective. The second most important point which comes under communication is harmony and peaceful communication. Just take this example which you are just watching. I am signing and the other person is giving voiceover. So it is going simultaneously. You can say it's going in harmonious way, in a smooth way. So such kind of coordination and harmonious smoothness should be there. When we plant any flower and we just take care of the flower also, only then we can get the better plantation and flowers and everything. So that coordination is really important. Next point explains about the management, the efficient management. Management is responsibility of the people we are involved in the work. If the management is lacking, our work will not be efficient. So effective management, efficient management is important. Next point explains, like earlier we explained and we did inform with clear points about the communication, our communication was clear. So similar way, it creates the mutual understanding. Let's now understand the different types of communication. Just now you saw a picture that is itself explaining the different types of communication. The first one, that is verbal communication. In any program, in any party, any meeting, the communication that is we all do, that is verbal communication. And there is other type of communication that is non-verbal. You can say written communication, and we communicate in sign language. With the blind people, they do communicate in braille, and there are deaf blind people who communicate with the tactile language. So that is known as non-verbal. And also there is another third type of communication, that is formal communication, which is known as professional communication. Like in any organization, a senior person or manager give orders to their subordinate to do some work. So there are people who are working in a team, they do the communication, formal communication. And there is another fourth type of communication, that is informal communication. Like we often talk in break times and free time, when we sit in canteen or when we are together in our family, that is known as informal communication. Now again there are further divisions in communication. Let us now first talk about vertical communication. This is just like you saw in the previous picture. In office, there is one senior person and there are some subordinates, and we communicate with the senior person. So that person is above us. So if we see that in a pictorial form, then that is considered as a vertical communication. And this another type of communication is, the second type of communication is a bit different, like we communicate in any conference when we are sitting in a circle shape or semicircle shape. We are communicating with the person who is sitting just in front of us. So that communication is known as diagonal communication. We all can see the whole group of people, our team member, and we all can communicate everyone who are in front of us. And there is another third type of communication that is known as horizontal communication. It is the communication which is among the same group of people, you can say same colleagues who are at the same level. So that is known as horizontal communication. So similarly, there are different types of communication under the category of communication. Thank you.